Hello, everybody. Thanks for your patience. It's me, Sally K, the Dark Cloak, aka Sal. It is our special monthly Anvil event, and tonight, of course, we've got Julia Harrison, Sozo Maika, and Amanda Solano. And our co-host tonight will be Justin Adams and Matt Kaminsky, and of course, myself. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good.
And we have definitely not been sitting here being silly for the last half hour. Nope, we have not been doing that.
Not even a little bit.
We haven't
doesn't
all put
happen.
on costumes in the last 15 minutes and run around.
Bruce! Bruce is in the chat. Hey, Bruce. Good to see you, buddy. Joy Zone, Luis, Yen, Drovey. Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a good turnout already, so things are hot out of the gate. Pixel Plague's watching. Jessica's watching. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. So yeah, we have a heck of a show lined up tonight. We are talking about walking the line. We are it's actually well timed because it's after the whole Visible Women hashtag that's been hot on Twitter last week. So it's we're going to be talking about women who are living and working in the industry and just learning about their perspectives and just see where it goes. So hey guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Are we all wearing sunglasses? Why, yes, we are.
Why, yes, we are. Yes.
Yeah, they're loving it. The chat's lighting up. They're saying they're dying.
I feel so secure, y'all. I feel so secure.
Nice.
I feel very fabulous right now.
Man, the stylish tree.
Fantastic. So what was? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that that Twitter thing.
So last week there was a hashtag going around. It's actually, I think it happens once a year, or you guys probably know better than me. Go for it. Jump in.
Yeah, there's a hashtag and it reoccurs. It's kind of like well, there was also a Drawing While Black tag that came shortly after, and it's going to be in September. So I think they just kind of redo them each year.
Like a rotation.
All the tags. Yeah. Because there was also like the art versus artist. People still do it every year. So.
Yeah. Jovi says you are all very fabulous, by the way.
Of course we
Why,
are.
thank you.
Yeah, it was hashtag Visible Women on Twitter, and it was going for a couple of days, few days. It was trending, but this is well timed after that, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's see.
And what was it for though? Because I don't know. Like, what was? I understood with like the art versus artists, but what's Visible Women?
It was women in animation, just the creative industry in general. I noticed there was people in animation and games and comics. Yeah, just independent artists. It was basically just creative community emphasis on and spotlight on the women industry.
Cool.
Like a lot of our well-known art directors were retweeting people and stuff like that. It was awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, since we already have a trio of incredible women here, how about we introduce each one of them and kind of like figure out like what they do in the industry, you know?
Yeah. So let's start. Let's take it from the top, top left to bottom left. Maika, tell us about you. Tell us about what you specialize in. Kick it off. You're in the top left, so I'm just going random here. All right. I'll warm it up. All right. So for those of you guys who don't know Maika's work, go check her out on Twitter. She does a lot of like anime influence, fashion influence artwork. It's very colorful, very stylish and dynamic. That's like the big thing that you're known for, right? And you also do a lot of anime influence work.
Yeah, a lot of my work takes cues from like traditional Japanese culture as well as pop culture. And even just outside of Japanese stuff, it has various influences.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Awesome.
Oh, girl, I'm looking at it now. Yes. I like. Oh, yes.
And
Oh,
Mandy,
yes, I like.
Mandy, who's specializes in dark art, and she does a lot of demon girls and pinups as well. Mandy, tell us a little bit about your stuff.
Yes, a lot of my work has fairly occult kind of inspirations. I do a lot of high fantasy stuff as well. A lot of comic book influences and things of that nature.
Cool.
Little bits of anime thrown in there.
And Julia Harrison in the bottom left. Julia, tell us a little bit about your work. I know you do some fan art, some Star Wars, some fantasy.
Oh yeah, I'm big into like I really love science fiction. I love dark fantasy, that sort of thing, and I hope to combine them as much as possible. Kind of try to bend genre boundaries and such. And I love weird stuff. I like dreams, and I do like to dabble in the occult influences, things like that. Don't tell my parents. So I'm not actually practicing the occult. Okay, it's just like
You're just observing it from a safe distance.
I just observe from a distance and feel very intrigued. So that sort of thing.
Nice. And just so everybody who's watching, so that they can start looking at your stuff while we're going through these talks and everything, can you guys mind dropping which social media platform you'd prefer they look at your stuff at?
Sure. Yeah.
Let me fetch.
I'll type them into the chat while you guys talk them out.
Alright, I like my ArtStation best right now.
Your ArtStation? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maika, what about you? What's your preference for people getting introduced to your work?
I'm not sure.
Maybe your Insta? Do you want me to link your Insta?
I'll probably just share my ArtStation.
ArtStation?
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
My ArtStation is empty, so I'm gonna just put my Insta in the chat.
Cool.
Hey, wherever you're the most active in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just
definitely Instagram.
Viewers can kind of follow along and get a feel for what we are familiar with.
Yeah. So Mandy's dropped her link, Maika's dropped her link in there. Whereas Tanuki says the Maika squad is here. Hey man, thanks for tuning in. Got some fans tuning in, Maika.
Hey, Boozin. Yeah.
Nice.
Micah has fans.
Julie, you got yours in there?
Say what?
You got your link in there?
I put it in the comments here. Should I put it somewhere else?
Yeah, I got you covered, don't worry. You said ArtStation, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that way people can check out your work while we're talking and stuff. All right, so tell us about your backgrounds. Like, you guys, this is very free form. We're very much like a banter. We're just hanging out at the coffee shop, talking shit and being informative all at once. Tell us about your background. When you guys were growing up, were there other artists in your families? Like, what got you going into art?
You go first, Micah. You have the top left. You have top left priority. I'm sorry.
Damn it. All right. So my parents are artists. My dad and mom can both draw. My stepmom, and but I was drawing before I went to go live with them. It's something that I've kind of just, since I can remember, liked to do. But there was all kind of stuff I wanted to do, like I wanted to be a violinist, I wanted to be an ice skater, everything. But because of financial limitations, I ended up doing art the most, and it just kind of went from there. Let's see.
So was any of that formal, or
No,
or you
not
just
at
kind
all.
of went off on your own?
No, I just, man, I remember I used to draw like Johnny Bravo getting beat up in pepper spray.
Nice.
I just drew from cartoons. When I was like 5, I remember the drawings, and my mom would be like, "What is this?"
So cartoons are what got you
Bravo,
excited about art to begin with?
Yeah, I grew up watching Dexter's Laboratory, Sailor Moon, and Dragon Ball Z, and all that stuff. Teen Titans. That was what I was influenced by when I was like that age. And then as I got older, I started getting more and more into anime. I was already looking at it because I didn't realize I was looking at it because I was just like, oh, these are just cartoons, but it was anime, and I had no fucking idea.
Yeah. Well, you know what's amazing? It's like even in the last couple of years, I've been discovering how much influence a lot of that stuff. When I was, 5, 4, a lot of those old cartoons that I never thought about the artwork in it. Now I'm going, oh wow, this looks just like the backgrounds of Thundercats or the ending credits or the poses and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to hear where those little sparks start coming in, even when you don't realize and start connecting the dots until later on. What about you, Mandy?
So there's actually a lot more. I learned this pretty recently. There's actually a lot more like artists in my family than I ever knew. My grandmother was really into like leather tooling and baking, and those were her arts. And on my father's side of the family, who I just kind of met fairly recently, are a lot of painters. They originate in Sarchi, Costa Rica. And if you Google Sarchi, Sarchi, you'll find lots of images of a very large, beautifully painted ox cart with like all these hand painted designs. They're like rainbow, stuff like that. And my great uncle helped paint that, and
Oh, wow.
lots of people in my family do the same kind of artwork that you see that originates from Sarchi. So, yeah, that's from my family side, and
apparently it's
Hayao
like a really
Miyazaki
big
was really
thing.
my earliest influence.
Oh wow.
I'll
Wow,
drop
it's
it.
like a that's like a
Go ahead, Jess.
painting ox carts.
He's roboting
Yeah,
a
these
little
are
bit.
intricate too. There's yeah, like kaleidoscopic colors and patterns. That's cool.
Wow.
Huh.
Now I know where my love for color comes from. It's like
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, they almost look Tibetan.
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
pretty crazy.
Wow.
That's insane.
I'll share a link
Amazing.
with the chat.
Wow.
Cool.
That's so,
So those are
intricate.
them roots. So what about you,
It's a
Julia?
Flickr link, but that's the ox cart is the one in the chat.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Thanks for the heads up, Joy.
Everybody's enthralled. How about you, Julia? Where'd you get your influences from?
Well, I started out when I was about 5 years old, writing and illustrating comic books that my mom still has.
Aw.
And I remember one of them was about my life in 5K, and it ends with me marrying my kindergarten crush.
That's
And
adorable.
I wasn't sure how like you were supposed to read comics either, so I have some that are like the normal American style where you open it from the how do you call it?
From left
You
to
read from left to right and you flip through the comic that way.
Yeah.
And then I have some that are the opposite, that are like the manga way. And I just didn't give a shit, you know. It was like, this is so cool. I'm making my own books.
Hell yeah.
And so that's the first thing that I remember. And then my influences. Well, I don't really remember much of them before The Lord of the Rings, to be honest. The Lord of the Rings was a huge influence for me. And from about high school on, I was doing fan art for that. And then I got bored of art because all I was really doing in school was vases and still lifes and stuff, so I dropped it for all of college. And then all of a sudden rediscovered it through actually I think I found ArtStation was what happened.
Okay.
And saw concept art for movies and games and illustrations for book covers and stuff. I was like, you mean you can do that professionally? You know, I had no idea. So it's just like, here I am. I'm like, I have seen the dream. I have seen the promised land. You can do that shit. So, I don't know if that answers really influences though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it gives an insight a little bit into your background, which I think is really important to know, like where you were to be where you are now. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, where did
like,
it all spark from?
Yeah, I did a lot of art when I was younger. I lost it for a while because I don't know. I feel like I lost my vision for what art could be, and then the internet gave it back to me. Thank you, internet. And now I'm like all about that video game, movie concept art, sci-fi, fantasy illustration type shit. It's great. Love it.
Nice. The chat's pretty busy. I'm just trying to keep up. Yeah. So for anyone who's not aware of who we're interviewing today, it's on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen here. Those are special guests. So bottom left we got Julia Harrison. Top left we got Sozo Maika, or Maika Sozo, depending on which social media you're on. And then of course in the middle left you got the Mandy, aka Amanda Solano. So yeah. And I'll get the links for their galleries for you guys in just a second.
So then, okay, I have to ask, because we heard a little bit from you, Mandy, about how you have, like, family that has done art. Do either of you, other two, actually have, like, relatives or anything like that do art regularly, or that have dabbled in the past?
My dad. Oh, my bad.
Oh, sorry. Mandy, do you want to go? I don't know what we're doing.
Hey, you guys just dive in. Just dive in.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys made me the sacrificial lamb. I thought I was supposed to go first.
Okay, go on. Let's do it.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was gonna say, my dad used to draw, and he doesn't anymore. But I used to see like his comic book drawings, because when he was a kid, his art teacher would shit on him for drawing Superman in class. When I was a kid, my art teacher would shit on me for drawing, some anime shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anime shit. But he had like his old drawings, some of his old stuff from his art school. He actually went to art school. I didn't. But now he's like a musician, and my mom, she doesn't draw anymore either. She's a singer. Hence why I have a guitar in my room.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I used to dabble in playing a little bit. But yeah, they gave up on that a long time ago. I'm done.
What about you, Mandy?
So aside from the family that I talked about earlier, like my great uncle and my grandmother and stuff like that, those are really the only people I know of. The folks that I had already mentioned earlier.
Yeah. On my end, I don't really know of anyone, honestly. Like my brother drew a lot when he was younger, but I think he lost interest as he got older. And that's really the only artist I can think of in my family. Like my dad might have dabbled in things here and there, but yeah, I can't think of anyone. I feel like I'm the only one. So I'm a first, I guess. Like I'm the first one who went to college, first one who was an artist. Yay!
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm actually right there with you.
Yeah.
So on the subject of schooling, were you guys primarily self-taught, or were you formally trained, or a mixture of both? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can go first this time, so Maika doesn't have to. So I was initially self-taught, and I actually went to school for graphic and web design. 'Cause at the time, I thought that was what I wanted to do. And then I took some life drawing classes and stuff like that in college, but other than that, pretty much self-taught.
All right, I'll go next. I took art lessons in high school.
Okay.
Like from about junior high to high school. And after that, nothing at all. So aside from all those still lifes I did, I'm totally self-taught. It's kind of intimidating sometimes because you wonder, did I check all the right boxes? Did I learn my anatomy? Did I, like, you almost feel like in order to be a real artist, you have to go through some sort of, like, artist boot camp or whatever.
Right.
Like, where someone else tells you what to study. and you study under them and stuff. But it's like, I guess not. I guess you don't have to do that because here I am.
Right.
So if you don't have money for school, kiddos, I am a positive example of how things can go, I guess. I hope.
No, yeah, definitely. I would say you are. And Yen's calling it out. He says imposter syndrome is sneaky. Yeah, that's true. Very true. What about you, Maika? Tell us a little bit about that stuff with you.
Well, if you know me at all on the internet, I constantly shit on art school. I hate it. I hate it so much. I mean, sure, there's things you can learn from it. I just think that there's a lot of scams out there and it's bullshit. I am self-taught, obviously, and I have negative experience when dealing with art schools. There's probably a few good ones in the US, but usually, no. I've almost been scammed twice. Nope.
Oh, jeez.
They tried, like, they're like, oh, you're enrolling, right? And I'm like, no, take me off your call list. Week later, oh, so these are your classes. And I'm like, bitch, I said I didn't want to go.
Whoa.
They kept trying to, like, make me go. And like, oh, hey, so you're about your loans. And I'm like, I never signed up for loans. Stop.
Wow.
That's pretty messed up.
Wow.
I
had a
school.
pretty bad experience with a proper art school myself, but I wasn't gonna bring that up.
Oh no, by all means,
And
please
now
do.
at this point in my life, I'm pretty much anti like art school, and I tell people like you don't need to go to school if you want to be an artist. Like you can learn everything you need to learn from the internet and from practice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I definitely believe in that. Like I don't really advocate for art school personally.
Luis can attest to that. He says the first time.
You have the money and you can do it. Power to you, but.
Luis Lil says the first time I saw Maika stream 5 minutes in and it was fuck art school.
That's
art
like
school.
honestly, in my Twitch streams, a lot of people come in there and they're like, Maika, I'm gonna go to art school. I'm like, don't do it. Every
It's
time.
a lot of debt you don't need.
No.
Unless your parents are giving you a free ride, don't fucking do it.
Yeah, Yen says if
My
you got
dad
the money,
used
get a
to-
car instead.
Yeah, right?
My dad still like sometimes he'll call me and he's like, I think you should go to art school, and I'm like, why? It's like just so you can say you went. And I'm like, oh, so do you have just so you can say you went money? Because I don't. I don't need your paper. Get out of my face. Sorry. Art school is like a topic that just.
No, this is good. I mean, I think this is worth
triggered so hard.
talking about. Absolutely, for especially for a lot of young up and coming artists, or even artists who are just looking for that career change, who think that that's the thing to do. I mean, it gets harder and harder as you get older, right? Like you said, do you have just for the hell of it kind of money? Like, no, most of us don't. So it's like Yen's saying, if you got the money, get a car instead, or buy a house instead. You'll be better off in the long run.
Seriously, I'm on that hot dogs and water diet. I'm on that I'm eating ramen noodles every other day diet. I eat graham crackers for breakfast, damn it. I don't need your school. Sorry. I'm gonna chill out now.
Jessica Douglas, she needs...
She goes for the liquor on that one.
Sorry, y'all.
Pixel Plague says, no, you don't have to apologize. That's how we do here. It's good. It's good. Pixel Plague says she loves you. You're so funny. Totally on the same page with you as well. Anime winky face. Jessica Douglas, she needs that on a t-shirt. Just go so you can say you went money.
Yep.
Bruce is saying, if you've got the money, invest it, and invest in workshops, things like Smart School, etc., that will actually give you good feedback and information. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
often
agree
what
with
I
that.
tell people. You have people like Anthony Jones doing workshops that cost a fraction of what you learn in an art school. You might as well take that instead. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or invest in doing conventions. Absolutely agree.
And there's also like this whole thing where you have like teachers where I've had things where like I ended up having to teach my teachers how to do shit. I should be getting your damn paycheck.
Yep. Yeah, that was actually one of my first, because I didn't go to college either or formal training for this stuff. And, I had friends who did, who went like for their 4 years, 5 years master's degrees, and I would always be asking like, "Hey, did you guys learn about this yet? Did you guys learn about that? No, what's that?" Like every time it would just blow me away. Like, aren't you guys keeping up with the industry? What's going on? It was pretty alarming to me, and that really helped cement the decision for me not to go to school. So it's really interesting to hear. Basically, you guys are unanimously saying the same thing. So that's interesting stuff. So, you guys watching? You got the money? Buy a house, buy a car, invest, do other shit instead. So, moving on. Are there any specific cultures or fandoms that inspire your work more than anything else? Like you just go like, yeah, that's the shit. Like I know you already mentioned like Japanese culture and anime and stuff, Maika. But is there anything else like further beyond that, or is or like any specifics around that stuff that really get you going with the art stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Like a huge influence on me is definitely like fashion. I grew up looking at fashion magazines. I mean, my characters. I had a thing where I was known for making the legs on my characters too long. That
I
is
think
why.
it's awesome.
That is fashion illustration. Yes.
Yes, I love fashion illustration. If you like take a look at the books on my shelf, it's a mixture of art books, fashion, and like just photography. I love photography of things that are like candid and not all hyperposed and stuff. It was just people like, living their lives in like really cool colors and like vintage. I love all that stuff. What about you guys?
So I definitely agree with like the Japanese influence. I also take a lot of inspiration from like dark art and like goth culture and like,
Sorry, guys.
Well,
Matt,
Matt's
you okay?
dying.
Almost done. Can't breathe water. Anyway, go ahead.
Bless you.
He needs water.
He needs some milk.
I told you to watch those barn hits, man.
Yeah, really like just dark art, occult stuff. Like I don't know. I take
art?
a lot of.
What about tattoo art? I see a little bit
Definitely
of like tattoo art influence.
definitely tattoo art. Like a lot of like more, especially like Japanese tattoos. A lot of that as well. Old school like Sailor Jerry kind of stuff as well. Just like a little bit of everything, and slap some neon colors on it. That's me.
It's like a sort of traditionalist approach. That's pretty cool.
Julia.
Well, I believe Sal already mentioned that I'm pretty heavily into Star Wars.
Just a bit.
So that's my probably my number one fandom. But aside from that, fandoms that just really inspire me and I imagine find their way into my art and everything is Star Trek. No, I don't believe it has to be a raging battle between the two fandoms. I think they're both great. I'm a Trekkie and a Star Warsian.
Star Warsian.
Right? Star Warsian, yeah, whatever. What is the term for that? I don't even know, and I'm a nerd.
Star Warsian works.
It's a good question.
Actually, I'm gonna start calling it that. You're a Star Warsian.
Star Warsian, yeah, exactly.
I love
And
the same names,
aside from that, probably my biggest influence has been Mass Effect. Like, I discovered that when I was 21, and it rocked my world. Like, everything since then has been compared to those original Mass Effect games. The experience, So that's very much a part of my my IP.
Yeah.
It actually kind of started off as a little bit of a Mass Effect clone, but since then, it's found itself and become something distinct and something that I'm proud of. But that Mass Effect love will always be in there. Like, if I could describe it as anything, it would be, well, Mass Effect meets Alien. How about that?
Nice.
I can't wait to see
Alien's
more of
another
that.
one. Alien's another one. I love Alien. I love Fallout. I love Skyrim. Oh my gosh, I have so many. So many. I just
A lot of
Yes,
gaming
I
and film.
know.
Sounds
Yes,
like.
exactly. Oh, and Blade Runner. I'm just
yeah.
so I love cyberpunk, neon signs, gritty, rainy streets type of thing. It hasn't exactly found its way into my art yet, but it will. It will.
Nice.
Mark my words.
Oh,
I think
Luis wants to know what about
everybody's
Stargate?
making stuff.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Actually, I do like Stargate, but for some
Heck
reason
yes.
I haven't been there as much for some reason. It just hasn't happened. I think it can if
Yeah.
I finally sit down and watch everything.
The
So
movie or the show?
both. Oh, actually,
really?
I watched the original
movies,
movie
you
a
mean?
long time ago,
Movies?
and it was good. It was great. The show is what I really
I couldn't get down with the show.
really.
It was a little too corny for me. I like the films better though.
Right.
Yeah, the chat's lighting up
This is
with
part
all
of the
sorts
fun,
of.
though.
What about this? What about that? Firefly's another one that's been
Firefly,
mentioned.
yes,
Yeah.
somebody
Yes.
mentioned Firefly. I love
my God.
Firefly. Basically, if you mention if you name just about
Dig it.
any major science fiction franchise to me, I'm probably a fan of it. Probably. I can't promise.
Battlestar.
But,
Okay, we can keep this up all night. Yeah, Battlestar
Oh my gosh,
Galactica,
yes, yes,
Babylon
okay.
5.
Oh,
What's the
those are
Farscape.
two I have not done. Those are
Oh,
two that I have not really been exposed to.
I think you're gonna enjoy them a
Oh,
lot. It's
good.
definitely that flavor of stuff.
Dude, Galactica was dope.
So yeah, that's
But
where I am. That's my love. It's like science fiction, and then kind of careening off into dark fantasy and stuff. So that's my jam. That's everything
then-
to me.
So then, since you guys seem to all have like these specific like specific industries / fandoms and things like that you're targeting, what's like some stories of your first like real dive into what the industry was for you, like as far as like freelancing or whatever.
So I'll go first for this one. So my first foray into the industry was actually working in a comic book studio. I worked as an assistant inker, and I had a mentor for a little while. He was really backed up on work and needed help, and we had a mutual friend who was like, "Hey, Mandy, you like art, right? Do you want a job?" Like, just was like, "Here you go. Here's his number. Like, call him and go to his studio and work for him." And that was how that happened. Like, there was no interview process. He was like, "Oh, you like art? Oh, you like to ink stuff? Okay, great, perfect. I can teach you." And so that was really great. I worked on Flashpoint comics. I did Canterbury Cricket, which wasn't really like a big title, but I also worked on Mega Man, the Archie relaunch of Mega Man. And I got to see the new 52 Superman before it came out. I didn't really get to work on that, but I did get to like help clean up some of that,
Nice.
and that was really cool. So that was my first real industry experience, aside from doing like private commissions for like local businesses to where I lived at the time.
Right. Yeah, you say Mega Man and I light up. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Shit.
As soon as I found out, like, I went into it totally blind. I didn't know what I would be working on, and I get there, and he was like, "Here you go. Here's some pages of Mega Man. Ink all the backgrounds for these." And I was just like, "Mega Man? What?" And it was beautiful.
Yeah, hell
It
yeah,
was
with
great.
Fanboy
I loved
Luis.
it. It was a lot of fun.
Let's see, eeny, miny. Julia, go.
Give it what's going on.
Oh, okay. My first industry experience, it was late 2015 actually. I kind of came across someone on Twitter who is one of the, what do you call someone who's in a startup, like starting an entrepreneur? One of the entrepreneurs who had started up a startup for making story games that blend reading and game mechanics.
Oh, okay.
She saw my work and she loved it, and she wanted me to work on one of their releases. And this was even before I'd gotten into digital art, which I really feel is my place to be. So I wouldn't like go around showing my work on that game now, but it was my first industry experience, and it was really cool. Actually being a part of making a game.
Awesome.
And seems so long ago now, but I hope to repeat the experience very soon.
I'm sure you will. Over and over and over till you want to throw up.
I want to die.
Welcome to working
Maika,
on any IP.
about you, what was your first foray where you were like, I'm in the industry? Yeah.
I don't know. Even to this day, I still wonder: am I really?
Am I doing this?
Yeah, 'cause I have yet to work for a studio or anything like that. In fact, I think in 2015, well, how do I put this? I was 15 when I got Photoshop. I had begged my dad and convinced him like this is what I need to take my art to the next level because prior to that I was a traditional artist. And so for a few years I just forced myself to learn it. Even before I got the software, I was watching tutorials on how to use it so that as soon as I could convince him to let me get it, I would know what to do. And by the time I got it and had a couple years in, I started learning things about, ArtStation and like what professional artists do. And I just kind of watched them from afar and just kind of mimicked what it was they were doing to try and like, in terms of like how they market themselves, not their art. So that I could get noticed by people. So then I started, connecting with other artists. I don't know how I managed to do it. I guess they just kind of were like, oh, well, this is just another artist. Let me just add her. And I built like a network so to speak, of
Yeah.
artists on Facebook. And I guess some of their friends eventually saw me, some people who were connected to those people. And then I got my first commission a few years ago. And then from then on, other people just kept commissioning me. But it's just been freelance. And
Do you recall what
Yeah,
that commission
I would say-
was?
What's that, Joseph?
Can you recall what that commission was?
yeah, I have it on Insta. It's on DeviantArt. You can even see the timestamp and everything.
Nice.
Buzen, I thought you did freelance job with some companies. Yes, since then, as an adult and, I'm more established on the internet and stuff, I have, companies reach out to me. But as far as getting started is concerned, it was just like a short job for like $240. I did a concept piece for this guy, and it was around a time where my parents were still trying to pressure me to go to school. And I'm like, Dad, Mom, I want to be a freelancer. Like, look, I made money. Like, see this? I did this piece in like an hour and a half and I made $240. Like, let me do this. I want to do it so bad. And they wouldn't listen to me. I'm gonna link the piece that I did. It's not that great, but this is the very first commission that I ever did for money.
No, it's good for people to see these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Because I think a lot of
Girl.
artists starting out are like, oh, I have to be super good to jump out there, and you don't necessarily have to have everything lined up.
Yeah. One of my pet peeves
Gotta-
is hearing I'm not ready yet. It's like, no,
Oh,
just
yeah.
go.
Sorry,
Just go.
Sal.
yeah. There's a whole thing about that. Like people don't understand things like ISO or not ISO, CEO, and like building web presence, which is something that I had researched at a young age, and I was like, okay, so the more space you take up on the internet, the better. So I need to like put out content, and not to say that it shouldn't be quality, but like me being comfortable with myself isn't an option. I need to do this now
Mhm.
because I want to have a future in this. And I had learned by watching people like Chris Oatley. I would listen to his podcast and stuff, and what he would say on that. That was how I kind of dictated how I would navigate the artistic community and all that. And then after I did those pieces that I dropped in there, I did these two pieces in the Japanese style that I'm probably most known for. And then they went viral. And then I started to get more commissions after that.
Right.
So there's no like formal introduction story I can give you guys. I'm sorry.
No, this is great. This is all actually
Oh,
really,
that's
really good. I
awesome.
mean, it just really points at the fact that there, like you're saying, there isn't a formal step-by-step formula to how do I become an industry artist. Sometimes you just do it for yourself. You just build your brand and get out there and just sell your own stuff. In our last show, we did. It was all about independent artists, and the way they became independent artists was all completely different. It was Jessica Douglas, who's in the chat today here, and also Steve Nigerian. You guys know him. He does a lot of dragon art and stuff like that. And yeah, just the way they got there was very, very different. Like sometimes it just happens by accident. Sometimes, people take very specific steps. I will say for you though, like, your branding is pretty much immediately like strong. Like you have a name that's catchy, you have a look to your art that's catchy, and it's like as long as I've known you, like it's always been a thing. Like, oh, yep, there it is. It's very solid. I get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, and it's a really good example for people to learn from. So yeah.
And see,
I missed the question.
Yeah,
Joy
Joy.
Zone asked something.
Joy was asking, how hard was the transition from traditional to digital art for you? For Maika.
I don't know. For me, when it comes to artistic things, when I look at an image or something like that, I can usually break down how it was made. All I had to do was learn how the software worked, and then from then on, I can recreate what I need to, or like get some kind of technique down. I was good at mimicking techniques, but when it comes to anything outside of art, I'm garbage. Like, so you're trying to teach me math? Forget about it. You want to teach me?
You have devoted all of your mental resources to this one pursuit.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah,
and I can't do anything else. I better be fucking good at this because I will die if I'm not. Because I can't. I can't do anything else right.
Julia and Mandy, do you guys have anything to add in terms of the transition from traditional art to digital? Because I'm assuming, you guys went through that transition as well.
Yeah, there was for me, definitely. Like I was traditional all the way through the time I was studying, like having art lessons and everything. And I got my first digital tablet. I think it was in late high school, and I loved the idea of it. I loved the idea that you could do it right on the computer and you'd have the undo button and everything. It seemed so magical, but I don't quite know why I didn't take to it at first. I think it was like I'm one of those weird people who when I've got a tablet that's not like the actual monitor, like a Cintiq or something, for some reason I just hate that. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I can't do it. I want to look at my hand when I'm drawing. It's not real. It's not real. And so I would work as much as I could on this stuff, but I would always just end up hating it. And then when I picked up art again about 4 years ago, I was back in traditional because that's what I had and what I knew. And then digital really took off when I finally was able to get a Cintiq. Now, I do not recommend this for everyone. You got to make sure that you really want it before you get it because they can cost a little money.
Yeah,
wait. The Huyons, no?
Well, yeah, Huyons. I didn't even know about those at the time, though. Yeah, so I got it used from a friend for like $800.
Wait, what?
I know.
What tablet is this?
The Cintiq.
Oh, I'm like, wait a second, what? What?
No. Like, it's Cintiq. Like, I have it in front of me right now. It's like 24 inches. It's nice. It's a decent setup, and I got it for like $800. I was able to pay $100 a month till it was paid off, and that is like, you cannot ask for that. You cannot find that anywhere, So after I got the Cintiq, I feel like I really just took off digitally. But that's just unique to me. Not everyone is like so dead set against the hand-eye disconnect or whatever. But for some reason, that was my thing. I just hated it. Ugh.
Yeah.
What is that an Intuos for?
I'm old school.
This is an old ass Intuos. This is
I use an Intuos 3.
I still have my Intuos 3.
It's a small.
I've been using the Bamboo since I started, so.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I had
Bless
the Bamboo.
that
That's what I got.
Damn.
First.
Well, I'm still using a Graphire 3.
No, I'm not using Graph. I still have it actually.
Well,
but
I
no,
use a tracing board, so.
What about you, Mandy? What was your? I'm assuming you work with like paper analog tools.
Oh yes.
Analogs.
Yes. I did not know that digital art really existed until I was about 11, and I begged and begged and begged my parents for a tablet and Photoshop and all this stuff for a year, and then when I was 12 they gave me my Intuos 3 and a copy of Photoshop CS2, and they were like, this shit's fucking expensive, you better love it and use it every day like for the rest of your life.
Right.
My grandparents were awesome. They fully supported my art habit, and I just kind of wung it from there. I taught myself Photoshop until there was a class available in my high school that was like graphic design, and that obviously they had computers with Photoshop on that, and I learned more from that. But I had self-taught myself up until that point. So I stumbled my way through using the tablet. I stumbled my way through using Photoshop, and actually, because I didn't get the hand-eye coordination thing at first, I would sketch and I would ink my sketch so that it wouldn't get on the stylus, and I would tape it to
Oh shit!
the Wacom and go over it that way.
Whoa.
I've
And
actually
it
heard
clever,
a lot
though.
of people
for a
do that.
while. It was horrible. Like
Never heard of
everything I
that.
did digitally was garbage in the beginning, but like that was how I taught myself until I learned how to make that connection. And then I used exclusively the Intuos 3 until I was well into my 20s, until I was like, I don't know, 22 or 23. Actually, no, I think I was 22 when I got my Cintiq Companion 2. I had saved up for it, and I had been working, full-time day job. That's my life. And I bought that, and then kind of from there, my digital art definitely skyrocketed. Like, I knew it was what I wanted. I had experimented with it at like electronic stores and friends' houses and stuff like that, and then I kind of dumped that when it broke, and Wacom tried to kind of dick me around a little bit, and I got an XP pen, Artist 16, which is basically the same thing as actually sitting right here. And I love it. It's great. And
It's what, like a third of the price of a Cintiq?
yeah, it was like $500,
Oh, that's not
400
bad.
and change, and it's 16 inches.
Nice.
Which is pretty great. I love it. It's very responsive. Just the color's not the best, but whatever. And then about a year and a half ago, I got an iPad Pro, finally. I'd been wanting one forever. And oh my god, you guys, it's so good.
It is so good.
Better than my Cintiq. I'm saying it now. I'm saying it proud. I love drawing on the iPad Pro.
All this talk of iPads and pencils is really tempting.
So Procreate is something, and I love it.
Use
I
mine.
love them.
You can't use yours?
My thing
hard.
is what is it called? Sketchbook Mobile Autodesk. Oh, that's my jam. Oh, I love it so much.
I use Procreate
So
pretty much
weird.
exclusively now.
I'm so used to this damn Intuos that when I try to use it, it's like swoop. Oh, it just slid. Okay, cool.
That's exactly it. The surface is so smooth.
Yeah.
It can be really off-putting at first. Now I'm used to it though.
Yeah, but it does look closer to the way I draw traditionally, which looks like a almost different art style than my digital work, which is bizarre to me.
I have that experience as well. Yeah, sketching on a Cintiq or anything like that still doesn't compare to sketching in a sketchbook, regardless of what kind of tool, pencil, ballpoint pen. I love using ballpoint pen, and nothing captures that feeling.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
I think that my work is more like the way that I treat my digital paintings is more like I'm manipulating something than actually drawing. That's why it feels so foreign when I go back to a sketch pad after long periods of time, because I don't draw anymore. I just paint and fill stuff in and render it out.
So speaking
So
of
it's just
art habits, so what's a day in your daily routine like around your art? And even if you work during the day, like for example, Mandy, you said you have a day job and everything, around the whole art experience and pushing your brand out there, social media, all of that stuff, like what is your daily routine like around your art life?
So practically, with some minor exceptions, anytime that I'm not having to be actively working at work, like all of my breaks I spend drawing. Before work, I draw. After work, I draw.
Awesome.
Weekends, I draw. That's pretty much it. And I leave a little bit of time in between for my poor boyfriend, who I carve out some time for. But it's pretty much just art otherwise. Like, everything is art. Everything is about art, and that's pretty much just how it rolls. And I make time for, me time and video games too. But, like, pretty much all of my free time that's not dedicated to work is artwork.
I hear you there.
So it's just a kind of, you have to make that balance if you want it to happen, especially if you are in a position where you kind of have to work full time. So
Mandy draws on the boyfriend. That's quality time.
We'll save that talk for after 9. Oh wait, it is after 9.
It is after 9. You're doomed now.
Well, on that subject, these body markers are just Sharpies. No, no, never mind. So what about you, Maika? What's your daily life routine around the art stuff like? Like, do you have time set aside for social media stuff? Like, do you structure it, or do you just like go?
I wake up, take a shit, eat food, take a shower, and go draw. And then in between, when I take a break, I work on social media. Then I take another shit. Then.
And this is just in the first hour.
Did I say eat already?
Yeah, you did.
Sometimes I remember to eat. Yes.
I'm following it.
What about you, Julia?
Yeah.
How many shits do you
gosh,
take?
I'm just still so stuck on Micah's answer. All right,
It's not a lie.
I'm trying to think here.
Everybody poops, right?
yes.
That's what I was about to
Exactly.
say.
I poop sparkles. Thank you very much.
So one of my struggles actually, and this might be relevant to some people in the audience. My greatest struggle right now is maintaining a routine, because I have ADHD. So I am very bad about chasing the shiny thing, whatever that shiny thing may be. And it could be any number of things. My only regularity right now is centered around the day job. And so usually that's like anywhere between 2 to 4 hours every day that I'm out taking care of people's pets, which is what I do for a living. So, I have all this time that's not being used for the day job, but it usually gets, tossed into different baskets depending on what I'm in the mood for in that day. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. In order to make art regularly, I need deadlines. That's just how it is for me. Like, I can really get into something for like 3 or 4 months. Like Star Wars fan art earlier in the year, I was doing it constantly, like with every waking moment. And then that phase passed, as they all do. And suddenly I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. I guess I'll go watch TV. So I'm very hectic. I'm all over the place. So one of my hopes is to actually build out enough structure professionally, like with like deadlines and people I'm actually doing work for and stuff, that I will actually be doing this every day in order to meet those deadlines. So it's not very like, I wouldn't tell everyone that that's what I have to do.
Right.
You want to look like you're really passionate. Oh yes, I draw for 2 hours every day. but it's like, no, that's not my life. It's never been my life. I've tried. I've been like, I write things on my whiteboard that's like, draw for 1 hour every day, and that lasts for a week, and then I can't do it anymore. So,
But it's always an
that's
evolution,
me.
right?
Yes, it is. It is. I'm very hectic.
I'm definitely right there with you with like deadline, like making a schedule of deadlines, because if I don't, I will literally do the same thing. Let projects just drag on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Oh,
worst
yes,
commissions
that's
are
me.
the ones where like, oh, just do it whenever. I don't have a deadline.
That
No,
never
no,
works.
give me a
for me.
It's
deadline.
like every commission I get ever.
Oh,
Do
Yeah.
you have a
Nice.
deadline? No.
I
How
think
soon?
it's
Are you
actually
sure you don't have a deadline? No.
I
Just
tend to
finish it whenever you have time, whenever you feel like it.
Can you
Yeah.
can you give me
Oh.
a deadline, please?
That is where commissions go to die.
I don't know.
They
I think
go,
it's
they go to
worse.
die in the.
Oh,
It's
no.
worse when the people are like too vague. Like
Mm.
I find myself like having this issue when working with comic people, especially because they'll be like, "Oh, we just want to cover," and it's like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" And then they act impatient with you when you try to get more specifics. But then when you deliver something, they're like, this isn't what we asked for," and it's like, You got my
You
order
asked for a
wrong."
cover, I gave you a
My
cover.
favorite
Here you
is
go.
we'll know
Like,
it when we
what
see
do you
it.
want?
oh yeah, the we know it. Oh god, don't even get me started on that
It's
one.
especially comics people. In the concept art community, it's a little different. Usually they're like, I want this, this, and this, and this, and this, and it'll be so specific to where it's like, I want a pore, like every, 40 pixels, there needs to be like 30 pores here. Like, they like that. But then the comic people, they're like, oh, make it shiny,
Shiny. Make it
make it
dynamic.
cool. And then I'll
Make
do
it-
my idea of cool, and then they're like, what is this? You want
That's not cool.
more?
It's cool.
It's just so annoying.
See, when we said cool, we meant our definition of cool.
But we're not going to tell you what it is.
We want you
Yeah.
to exercise your mind reading skills. Important
Yeah.
for every artist.
You thought you knew
And
what
then
you
the
were
changes
doing.
that they ask for are changes that should really like redetermine the entire pricing of the image. They're like, oh, we'll add more characters, and it's like, bitch, you got to add more characters money because this is work.
Yep.
You don't just go, oh, change this. Like, ah.
Well, obviously, since it's already popping up through you, so I have to ask them, what's some really like positive stories, and what are some really negative stories that you guys can each share? Because it sounds like you got like some horrible stories about some comic
I
industry.
need my own fan.
Oh,
Maika is staring into your soul.
I'm just going to use
yeah.
my book.
Yeah, you're gonna see blackness.
Oh, Lord. We're all fanning ourselves because this is a question that's hot. Okay.
We're like drag queens.
I have, yeah. Yes, queen. Yeah.
Oh, we just lost Justin again.
Aw, stupid
He
cat
can't
skills.
handle all the fabulous.
I
right.
know.
Mhm.
It's too hot in
If
here
he
for
comes back with
Justin.
a fan.
It's too hot in here for Justin. Oh no, my camera went out of focus. Hold on. I don't know
It looks
what
very
it's doing.
artsy.
I'm so artsy right now. I don't know what it did.
She's filtering.
Justin's
Hold
still
on.
playing,
Getting
so we'll see
more
what
out of
happens.
focus.
Just add some chromatic aberration and you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I don't
Unsharp
know why
filter.
it's doing
there you
this.
go.
Oh, there you are.
There we go. It just randomly defocused itself. Anyway,
And of course,
I've never really had I don't know. I've never really had an awful experience, but I've had experiences where it's been commissioners who are just exactly what Maika was just describing. Can you read my mind? And I don't have a deadline. And can you make it look more like this? And you get done with it after however many approvals you get from the client. Oh yeah, that looks good. Keep going with that. And then you get done, and they're like, can you change literally everything about this? And it's like, no. You approved it twice, and you knew what you were getting into, and so the answer is no. This is what it is. You agreed to this. I've only ever had to do that a couple of times. Normally, I've been pretty lucky in being able to finagle details out of people, but other than that, those couple of experiences, it was like that on two separate occasions. In recent memory, at least, of people who were just can you just change everything even though I approved this already twice? No.
My favorite is, can you rotate the character slightly?
It's not a 3D model!
Micah broke her fan.
I can't just... I'm so triggered right now. You can't just turn the character. It's not fucking ZBrush.
Micah's
we
done.
lost Micah. We lost Micah.
She's just done.
I've had that.
Wow.
Can you move their head, or can you change like their whole outfit? Can you just like copy paste a new outfit on there? No.
Mhm. Triggered.
really
Everyone's
did.
Can you
triggered.
copy paste some more funds into my account?
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
Oh my
There we
god.
go.
yes, you
Now we're talking.
Yandere, Maika.
So Micah,
definitely
that's
after 9 now.
that's really good timing because Jessica Douglas is asking.
You want to run that by me one more time? What? You wanted me to rotate what?
Can you rotate this 2D image that you drew slightly and change the pose? Otherwise, we love everything you did. On the subject of those types of interactions with clients, Jessica Douglas is asking, do you ever feel intimidated by the client when you have to tell them no or put your foot down? How do you guys deal with that? Like, what's your strategy for that? Aside from busting out a cleaver.
I have struggled with that, yes. Simply because, well, growing up, you're kind of socialized to be a bit more like meek and submissive. You know, it's like it's not considered a ideal womanly trait to be able to firmly tell someone, "Fuck no, go away." So I'm making Micah do things right now.
Yep.
She's about to
Yeah.
super rage quit.
So it's something that in my personal and my professional life I've had to consciously work on. And I'm much better at it now.
Mhm.
It's like I was able to finally understand the concept of, wait, I can have boundaries. I can say no to people. Oh my God. And then I was like, yes, say no to everything.
Say no to everything. Never make any money again. Say no to everything.
Yeah.
What about you,
So-
Mandy? I want to leave Micah for last because I know she's got a lot to say on this.
Oh,
So
she's like
triggered.
boiling over.
I'm
there.
ready
This
for
is
I'm
great.
ready for the rant. I'm so excited for
I'm
it.
looking forward to it.
She's like over there, like.
So for me, it's situational. I've definitely experienced the whole feeling like you have to be very subservient and say yes to everything. Like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Yeah, sure, I can do that. Yeah, sure, I can do that. And then I'm like, I had an experience where I was just like, do I actually need this commission? Like, do I like? What if I just say no? And you know, that kind of situation has happened to me, and then usually it pretty much works out, and I end up getting something that I do want, like that I can do and that I do want to do, because I have people see my work sometimes and they ask me for things that are just not even remotely like what I do. Like, hey, I really like your work. Can you do a logo? Can you design this website? Can you draw this super epic robot battle, even though I've never seen you draw a robot ever? No.
Right.
I've got this
do
great
that,
tattoo
sorry.
idea.
Yeah.
You want some hot demon chicks? I will draw you some hot demon chicks. How about that?
We do not use the T word.
What's that?
The T word is forbidden.
Which one's the
The
T
T
word?
word?
Do not email me with the T word. The T word. It's
Oh, is that
the
from the
ta-
chat?
yeah. No,
tattoos.
tattoos.
Oh, yes.
Oh Lord.
I mean,
So
I've definitely done like tattoo designs before,
So
but
give
like
us-
sketches of them. I'm like, your tattoo artist can clean this up or make it how they want it to work. Here you go.
So give us your rant, Micah, and then I've got a follow-up question.
Yes.
I don't
That's
even
kinda
know.
related.
There's so much bullshit. I don't even know where to begin on it. So triggered right now.
Yeah.
It's just it's like, which topic? Art theft, tattoos, idiots. Oh!
Here, we'll boil it down to, how about you just give us a really awesome like horror story you had, or a really positive story of an experience you've had with a client.
Wow.
That way we don't have to really send you off the deep end.
Well, I've been waiting for this deep end to just like.
I know.
So-
I'm ready.
Fine, go for it.
I have a story about this person who took my work, and it was my intellectual property. It wasn't a client, but it was somebody who didn't know how to respect people's stuff. And they took me Rosh Tran, Mache Kuchara, and like several other like actually way more popular than me artists. I don't even know how I even got in that lineup of people whose
It's
shit
good
got
company to
stolen.
be in.
It is, but it's like, how did I get here? Because these people are like, you know, it's like, how did my stuff get stolen alongside this? But I called them out, and they said that they had made this website to promote sales for the artists, and it had a functioning PayPal button and everything. And they're like, how dare you just jump to conclusions about me? Blah, 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 blah. There was a whole Twitter fight on my Twitter. That's why I didn't link my Twitter, because I don't think you guys want to see that mess. It's
Is
a
that
while
recent?
back. It was like some months back, and
Hmm.
it got so bad where like I almost had to get a lawyer involved. And then like later on, so you guys, I work for the artist Yume as well, right?
Hmm?
So she, recently, or I don't know if it's recent anymore, she put out a Patreon video saying basically like, oh, I'm going to be using this to fund my artists to help me make my comics, whatever. And this person was so vengeful from me basically putting my foot up their ass for stealing mine and several other people's artwork and basically having their site shut down, that they tried to start a thread on Reddit about how I'm a snake and I'm trying to steal Yume's money for myself. And it was
Oh,
so psychologically like mind blowing. I was upset at first because I was like, how could somebody say that? Like, this is Yume is my friend. But then I was like, wait, is this that alt sci-fi bitch? Hold up. They talk the same way too. And then people like they traced it, and they just found out it was the same cycle. And this person's had it out for me ever since. So every once in a while they start some dumb shit on the internet about me. So if you see something, it's probably them.
what?
So
Yeah.
one of the things that came up pretty commonly, particularly with Mandy and Julia, but this is my follow-up question about this stuff. You guys mentioned feeling like you had to appease to the clients and you had to feel like a little bit submissive and all that stuff. How much of that is coming from, your need to have a client and like, oh, I need this money or I need this job or whatever, and how much of that is coming from your experiences as women in any regard, would you say?
Well, my thoughts on that are like initially, um, it was also very caught up in the need for commissions because when I first started back on art, like financially, I was not in a stable situation. So there was a feeling of I have to get this money. Um, and it's really interesting though because it feels like that sense of necessity is also very tied in with your experience as a woman because a lot of the time women can find themselves in situations where it can feel like a necessity, maybe not financially but emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and just in basic terms of safety to want to appease. So that can really bleed into anything that is related to just a career, finances, because you're like, it trains you to keep putting power in the hands of other people. And so once you get in a situation where financially you don't need the commissions, it's like it really frees you because all of a sudden you are independent and you're like, oh, wait, I don't need this. I don't need them. I can tell them no.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
That's
Yeah,
something that I want for
exactly.
myself so bad. Oh
Yeah,
god.
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I
So,
think that speaks to a pretty fundamental thing that all creatives or all maybe just artists, I don't know, but all creatives want. It's like
mhm.
that desire to just be like, I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly.
Having the freedom
Exactly.
to take the jobs that you want, not the jobs that you need, right?
Mhm.
Right, for
What,
sure.
what about you, Mandy? Anything to add there, or Micah? Anybody hop
Um,
in?
Oh, I mean, I do have like a small experience. At least,
Okay.
I mean, this podcast is about women, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will say,
Want to
like,
hear your
as far as
perspectives.
being submissive and stuff like that, people don't like that I have the personality that I have, I guess, as a chick. Because when I first joined the internet,
Hmm?
I kept my race and gender ambiguous, so a lot of people just assumed I was a Japanese guy for whatever reason. They would inbox me in broken Japanese trying to communicate with me, and I'm just like, the fuck? I would respond in Japanese just to troll them.
Right.
But like some of the people that I would talk to on a regular basis, the moment they found out I was female, they acted totally different towards me. And it was weird. And I don't like saying stuff like that because I don't want to like give off like a, oh, I'm so mistreated because I'm a woman. But it just happened, right? Like I do think that I'm not like one of those, oh, all men are this, all men are that, but a lot of the ones that I knew in our industry, they treated me like shit after they found out who I am and what I am, like all those things, and it sucks.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Jessica Douglas says, "This is my first time meeting Maika, and I'm pretty sure that she does not feel submissive to anyone ever, but really it's very inspiring to see that type of feisty strength." And yeah, I completely fucking agree. I mean, that's the other part of this particular topic is that we want to know and we want to hear and learn from your perspectives. And that's a really interesting thing that you've said, that, you know, before it was ambiguous, and when you kind of revealed that part, or that part came out, to see that shift. It's interesting, I think, for anybody to hear that, so that we can learn on so many levels, right? Like even just from a branding perspective, how that affects and influences how you're perceived, and you know what you do with that. But that's really cool. Thank you for telling us about that stuff. What else do you guys have to add around that?
So I definitely agree with a lot of what Julia said, and I agree with having been treated differently after folks have learned that I was female, like on the internet, just in general, not specific to the art industry, because in like all the different art websites that I've always posted to, I've always been very, very open about the fact that I am female, and you know, that I am, you know, of mixed descent, and you know, that kind of thing. So it's never something that I've shied away from telling people about, because it's who I am. And you know, in other places on the internet, I maybe was more ambiguous about it, but then they're like, "Oh, you're a girl?" And it's like, "Yeah, want to play Dungeons and Dragons?"
Hell yeah.
Or like gaming communities and stuff like that. And normally I just own it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a girl and I just fucking owned you. Like, what's up? But going back to the feeling subservient kind of thing, I think a lot of that for me personally comes from like my professional background. I have a lot of background in customer service and that kind of thing, and having to be diplomatic with customers, and so a lot of that bleeds through into my art. And I find it especially true when I'm dealing with potential clients in person versus over the internet, of feeling that need to cater to them more because they're standing in front of me at a convention or at a meeting, or somebody approached me. Like I've had coworkers approach me for illustrations and or for, you know, tips and tricks and stuff like that. And you know, sometimes I feel like, especially in person, like that I have to cater to that person because it's what's expected of me. And most of the time I don't fall prey to that, but I have felt, you know, the need to do that in certain situations, yes. But certainly not every time. Most of the time I'm just like, what you want? Like, what's up?
Yeah. Healthy attitude.
I definitely haven't had any particularly bad experiences in relation to my gender specifically within the industry. I guess I've been lucky in that regard, in that I don't really let stuff like that, I guess, get to me, or more like I've made sure to surround myself with people who aren't like that, who won't treat me differently because I'm a woman, or because I'm Hispanic, or because I'm only half Hispanic, or whatever the case may be, you know. So
yeah,
that's really, I've been pretty lucky. I've heard horror stories from other women, and I definitely count myself as lucky in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally, in the industry, I haven't had any bad experiences, but there's a large part of me that's always kind of expecting it, because I've heard I've heard all the stories, and so as I'm entering the industry, I'm kind of taking baby steps with that in mind, because it's like I kind of want to scout out, feel out an opportunity or a person before I sign up to work with them, because I want to be sure that they're going to respect me. Like I'm open, and I've been open from the very beginning. Yes, I am a woman. Yes, this is my work, and I want to be respected on that basis. So if I get any funny feelings from someone, like, you're treating me funny, why are you doing that? Then I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
What are the
Sorry.
what would you say are what would you guys say is like the flag for that? Like, what would you say is like that's a flag when you feel that someone's treating you funny or anything like that's going on, or there's an ulterior motive or being talked down to, or like what are like the telltale signs of that happening? I'm sure you guys have lots.
Pet names. Pet names for sure. Like Han or Sweetie or whatever, and it's like, you were just calling me by my first name a minute ago. Like, who are you? You don't know me that well.
Yeah.
You can't call me that. Like, I did not. We're not friends enough for you to say things like Han and Sweetie, and
Yeah.
no.
Oh gosh.
You can't do that.
In a professional setting.
Especially in a professional setting. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you?
Yeah.
Don't.
Voice Maika speaking.
My name is Amanda. Let's stick with that. I actually had a fairly recent experience where like other people on the team all had nicknames and whatever, and they were trying to come up with one with me, and it was like the dude's trying to do it, and I was just like, you can just call me by my name. Like, just stick with that.
Should have just been like, you guys can call me Big Dick. Call me Footlong.
I was expecting the dirty bulk joke, but
Dirty bulk, no.
Yes.
I think it's really obnoxious when I'm trying to like have a conversation about, what I do or like what I can do as far as like my work for you as a client, and it's like, wow, oh, you have such a cute face. You should smile more. Like, bitch. Don't you fucking tell me what to do with my teeth. I will fucking bite you.
So triggered right now.
I had a guy tell me I should smile. I was like, you'd be really cute if you would just smile more. And it's like, you'd be really cute if you shut the fuck up.
A client?
I'm not here to look cute for you. That's what my art's supposed to do.
Hell.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're drawing with your face or whatever.
RBF Club, what up?
So then, kind of related to all this, I have to ask you guys. Okay, do all three of you do conventions or anything like that, or know of like participate in the convention circuit or anything like that?
Who's going first?
I not in an artist capacity, no. I've attended and I've helped do like celebrity handling and stuff like that, but I've never like tabled at a con before. It's a goal of mine, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. I've only been to one convention, really, a LuxCon. I've been there twice, and I love it, and I know I want to table there. But there's also a feeling of like that same hesitation of wanting to take baby steps. Oh my god!
I feel like that's
There's a feeling
I need a
of wanting
cleaver
to
just
take
so I
baby
can be like you, Maika. She's just like, yeah.
Please don't put yourself on camera.
I'm smiling now. See? Look at
There
this.
you go. Now I'm smiling.
Bitch.
Oh, you're making me so nervous.
Waiting
Don't
for
ask
her
why
to just
that's in
stick
here.
it in the wall, just boop, here it is.
I would. I really would, but I have to pay rent here, so
So,
I should name my cleaver.
yeah, it's a good point.
What do you guys want to name it? What do we
Sally.
Leave it
You
up
can
to
name
the
it
chat.
Sal.
Sal, you can
Name it Sal.
What's the chat say?
The only time she smiles.
Yeah, what's the chat say? The only time she smiles is when she's holding the knife.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't take that to
Sally or
mind, I
Molly.
swear.
Jessica said there's kind of kudos here for us hosts here. She says, I have to say it's super surreal for me right now to watch this video. There's 3 women who are professionals and are discussing their experience, and then 3 guys and no one's mansplained, talked over the ladies, or filled in their sentences for them. It's kind of amazing to watch. Thank you so much. I said this in the chat, but I'm going to say it out loud as well, is that, as much as we screw around on these things and we, talk shit and goof around and everything, we do take these topic talks very seriously and our guests very seriously, and our mission for tonight was to get their perspective and be curious and attentive, and yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you guys are picking up on that, so thank you for saying that.
Hold the phone. I would be doing plenty of mansplaining here if my internet connection was better. So fuck that. I'd be explaining shit all over this joint.
This here's my stress relief.
I'd tell you right now that if I even tried to attempt starting something like that, Ashley would run up the stairs and just drop kick me out the window. So there's that.
Yeah, there's that. I love learning, and I'm really glad to have this opportunity to be talking to our peers who have this perspective, and to get more ideas.
Now
real quick, speaking of a LuxCon, Maika, you should consider going. It's in October. It's in Pennsylvania.
And
I can't afford to travel. Remember, hot dog water diet.
Oh, come on now.
I can't. You want to fund it? You want to buy my table?
No, you don't need a table.
You don't need a table.
I'm not getting a table. Just going, man.
Yeah, we're just going.
I don't really. I did 2 small little showings, but they weren't full cons. I am doing Anime NYC this year though.
Nice.
I will not be bringing my cleaver. That's actually for cooking. I like to cook, so.
You should let me know what table you're at. I'll drop by.
When I figure that out, I'll let you know. I actually made a post update on my social media because I had been preparing merch and stuff for the con. But this is my first real con since I was 14 years old. That was the last time I ever did a table. So I'm a little nervous, but I hope I do well and actually do more than break even. So.
Well, the main reason I asked that question flat out was because I guess since you guys are pretty chill about the con scene right now, after the fact, I'd like to hear your experiences on what, how you guys are, were treated, what it was like to be behind the table, because I'm always very interested to see what that perspective is. Anyway, other questions.
Jessica Douglas is also encouraging you guys to do the convention thing. She says you'll do well. Your work is wonderful, all 3 of you.
Aww, thanks.
Okay, sure. Jessica says there should be a follow-up interview after the convention. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Nice.
Like a recap episode, and yeah, have maybe even do a bigger roster of guests, people who were at LuxCon, ourselves. One of the things that we're actually toying, just because we're on the subject, we're actually toying with the idea of doing a live stream from the convention as one of these, Anvil streams.
I'm bringing a selfie stick for it. I'm just letting you know now.
Nice. And
I'm coming prepared.
People.
Yes.
Yes, just grab people at the bar. Hey, come here.
Yeah, wait till everybody's at the hotel getting wasted.
Justin, you should make that face exactly when you do it. You will get so many people.
Table
Yeah.
What are those?
People who just hang around your table.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I had one of those, and they just sat around. Wow, your art reminds me of Ilya Kuchinov, and I'm like, bitch, get away from my table. Get away. No, I didn't actually say that, but
it's even
just pulled the cleaver out.
Just one person. Just one person sitting there. That's creepy.
I mean, it depends on how that person's doing it. This actually came up recently in one of the other streams, but if you have someone who is essentially acting almost like a hype man, and they're your table barnacle, that can actually work out really well, especially if they're very familiar with your work. But if you just have someone who's hovering and how much is this? Oh, how much is that? Oh, how long did that take you? Oh, did you like making that? No, man.
I would say though, I think I prefer people standing near my table than not, because it actually looks like there's people engaged in
Yeah.
what I'm doing versus
Yeah.
not at all looks worse to me.
Yeah,
even
that's-
though they
that's
might be
exactly it.
annoying.
Well, that's why I
Yeah.
said it's weird if it's just one person just standing there, like just like watching you draw or something.
You just
From an outside perspective, to me, when I see somebody because Anime NYC last year and New York Comic Con, whenever I'd see like one person, to me they just looked like a big fan of the artist. So it made me walk over there to be curious about like, oh, I wonder why they're standing over here so long. But that's just me as an
Right.
attendee because I went a couple times just to see like the con culture because I hadn't done it in so long, and
Mhm.
I went and promoted myself.
Hey,
Like,
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
nope.
You gotta
No
network.
shame in that.
You gotta
oh man,
network.
it worked out because I got invited to a Webtoons like rooftop party. It was nice.
I mean,
No
that's another
Yeah.
reason to get out to the LuxCon, because everybody's just like, it doesn't matter if you have a table or not. I mean, everybody's there, everybody's
It's
friendly.
pretty much all artists.
Yeah, just
And
it's
art appreciators.
it's the
It's
fam.
awesome.
It's great. It's a really
Come
great
to
community.
LexCon, Maika.
Yeah, Maika.
Come.
Pennsylvania. Wait, you guys are all in the same area
No,
except
no,
me.
I'm in the
No.
Midwest.
No.
No.
I've
No,
never
They
been
just have
either.
you have
I'm
money
the
to
one
travel. Okay, don't rub it in.
Hey, I've never been
Aw.
either. So. But no, that actually brings up a good point though. Like, I think that any creative that goes to a convention period or you know, art expo, you know, comic show, even a gallery opening, whatever, bring some of your own material, even if it's just like business cards, to just start slinging them around, man. That's part of like the thing.
What I did is
Oh.
when I was like, whenever I go to cons, I just keep a small iPad with a small gallery on it, just with me at all times.
Same.
Yo, Louis, Lil, I don't know how to say your name, but yes, I do. I one of the cons I went to, I didn't even have a table, but somebody abandoned it, so I hijacked it and made some sales doing on the
Nice.
spot.
Oh, that's awesome.
I made about $150, and I
That's
didn't have
hardcore.
to pay to get in either. So I know it's bad, but I
Ah,
did
hell
it.
no.
Hey, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Us
Made
artists
the
just-
best out of a situation, and that is badass.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hijacking tables, there's no shame in that. I mean, nobody's using it. It's not hurting anybody.
People do it at a LuxCon.
Yeah.
For the folks who
Yeah.
don't show up.
It was conveniently right next to Yume's table because I knew her. She didn't
Oh.
like say anything. It
Right.
just kind of seemed like I was supposed to be there because like I work for her on top of that, and people actually recognized me when they went there. So I was really surprised by that actually.
That's awesome.
So then, okay, if you guys can talk about it, I don't know if you want to or not. Do each of you have your own sort of like IP or like project that you're specifically working on or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Julia's like jumping out of her chair.
Yeah.
and
Yes,
if so, do you guys want to
I
talk a
am.
little bit about it?
I have been working on it for over 10 years.
Nice.
I first got the idea when I was 14 because of a diagram in a history book, and since then it's become something completely different from what it originally started as. But some of the original set pieces are still there, and it's my baby. It's my pride and joy, and I love it so very much. It's called the Oracle Fragment. The
Ooh.
Oracle Fragment.
I'm intrigued.
And it is science fiction. And I am torn about whether to make it a novel or a graphic novel or an audio drama or all three. Like, really. I just love it that much. I'm like, yes, I can do 3,000 iterations. So, how much detail you want? That's the question.
That's what it comes down to.
I can tell you, well, two things. Firstly, in the 70s and 80s, for something for you to look at for that, a lot of books actually threw illustrations and like the spine lines and like halfway through pages and stuff like that, and it'd be
Oh,
very random.
nice.
Look at a lot of Clive Barker books for that, and they'll do pretty
Clive Barker.
random craziness.
Awesome.
No, but no, going back to, I mean, you can share as little or as much as you want about your project, I say. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to monopolize too much time. I'm just
I talk
very,
a lot,
I'm
it's
very
okay.
passionate about it. Well, it's one of those things where, like, this kind of started out as inspired by Lord of the Rings back when I was in a Lord of the Rings phase. And then it kind of kept morphing as I was inspired by all these different fandoms that I've become so passionate about. Like it went through a Mass Effect phase, which has really like influenced its the way it is now, probably more than anything else. And also something that has influenced it a lot is this really cool like community world building project that I discovered called the Orion's Arm Universe. I'll type it
Please do.
out here. And like they have a whole website and everything. They've been working on this shit for probably since the 90s, I think. And it's gone through so many changes, but it's all these people who are just passionate about science fiction world building. And they just come together and they make this world together. And I don't even know if they I know they've published some books and stuff, but mostly like the world building is the thing. They have this whole forum for it, and they're just doing it for fun. And I found a lot of concepts there that I hadn't discovered before. Which before I found this this project, this website, I was kind of at a loss for what my IP should feel like. Like it had just gone through its Mass Effect phase, and it was like, but I don't want it to be a Mass Effect clone. So I was just kind of lost with it for a while there. And then this this world building project really like gave it a lot of focus. And it's like, yeah, okay, I want this to be set like 10,000 years in the future, like crazy far future science fiction with technology that we can hardly imagine nowadays, because it really does become indistinguishable from magic. And like nanotechnology has advanced so far that it does almost everything, and like artificial intelligence has become so advanced that there are a lot of AIs that are pretty much gods in the universe, and they're kind of like helping structure and govern society and stuff. And I'm really drawn to that because it's a feeling of like, what does it mean to be human in this setting where artificial intelligence has become godlike? It's huge. You can't wrap your mind around it. Like there are artificial intelligences that are the size of solar systems, just because they need that much processing power to do what they do. And people have the ability to change their bodies, like transhumanism, that kind of thing. And like, what does it need to be human in that setting? When are you getting excited, Matt?
Oh, you and I are gonna have some serious craziness to go on about later on, but
okay, cool. But yeah, that's what my IP is all about. It's like exploring those boundaries and taking a person who is normal by our standards and putting them in the middle of that and being like, all right, how do you handle this? How do you fit in this world where, it's like the galaxy is full of aliens, but they all used to be humans, right? Like there's no actual alien life forms. They've all either been humans who gene-modded themselves to extremes, or it's been intelligences that humans created. So it's like, what do you do? Who are you going to be? That's what I want to explore, and it's just like, I love it.
We can talk about that. But speaking on the subject of being human, we've touched a little bit on the whole branding and like the screen names and things earlier, but one of the things that we wanted to talk about tonight was balancing your web persona, and how you manage your artist persona, right? Like who you put out there versus who you are off camera. Is there a difference for you guys, and what are the boundaries between them? How do you approach it? How do you balance it? Tell us a little bit about that so we can learn.
Should I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are no permissions. Just leave in.
I don't want to be rude. But yeah, when I first made my name, I wanted it to be ambiguous and stuff like that, and I was very reserved and polite I mean, I still think being polite is important, but it was like where like you don't get exposed to my true personality because I just wanted to be judged based on the merit of my art. And then when I finally revealed myself to the interwebs, I was still very, clean, very, oh, hi everyone, blah blah, and I just got so sick of it, And, like the way I'm acting in this stream now is more like my real self, maybe with a little extra sugar and goofiness, but I prefer to just be more relaxed and just feel comfortable in my skin instead of worrying about, oh, well, people perceive me like this, or people perceive me like that. Like, this is who you're dealing with. I'm a person. I'm not an entity anymore. So my lines on that are a lot more blurred than they once were. Yo, do you have to speed by my house, dude? Sorry.
Get that clean.
I'm doing a show.
We're doing a show over here. Shut the fuck up. Just
sometimes it's like just throw the window up and cuss them out. Man, sometimes people get their asses beat outside my house. I just anyway.
I remember those days. What about you, Mandy?
So I'm kind of on more or less the same page as Maika. This is pretty much me. This is I probably shout a lot more on my stream, or rant about things on my stream a little bit more than what I'm doing today. But I'm pretty much me all around. I'm relatively unfiltered in that regard most of the time, with the exception of day job stuff. But
right.
But other than that, I'm just me, and if people don't like it, then tough shit, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
There's a big difference between professional polite and trousers down, bending backward. I mean, yeah, if you email me, I'm gonna be cordial, if we're discussing business. But if you're in my Twitch stream, prepare to hear "kiss my ass" over and over and over.
Yeah, same, pretty much. If it's a professional setting and we have to talk about, actual business or art, or if you have formal questions about, art or my process or something like that, of course I'm going to formalize it a little bit more and be more professional and polished about it. But my general personality is just, what's up? Want to get drunk and play video games? Let's fucking do it. I'll kick your ass at Mario Kart. Let's go.
Fucking Mario Kart. Go it all the way.
Oh god, no.
Overwatch, Call of Duty, let's do it. I will destroy everybody. That's just me. I'm just let's go, let's fight, let's do it, let's play video games. It's great.
Yeah. Smash Brothers 99 stock battle royale. Let's do this.
Hell yes.
No, yeah, we can get down when Cyberpunk comes out.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh yes.
That's a whole stream unto itself. Maybe we should do that.
We're not even gonna start that right now.
I could do a whole stream about that. Holy shit.
I'm on that hype train for sure right now.
I think most of us are.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
A lot of excitement in the chat.
Yeah, I need to
over
look.
everything.
Oh, yeah.
Over everything. Jessica Douglas says, yeah, I have to say, Mandy, you on Twitch, you as a professional artist, and you chattering off in a casual setting and messages has been the same, and I like that.
Aww.
Yeah.
I like to be consistent.
Consistency is awesome.
What about you,
It's
Julia?
important, actually.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's honest. Yeah. It's honestly been kind of a struggle for me sometimes, because sometimes I feel on social media, sometimes I feel like I don't understand a platform, or it just doesn't really click with me. I'm not sure quite how to use it for my needs. And so on Twitter, I feel like at this moment, I'm either stilted or not there, because I just don't it'll get there. Once I'm producing professional content on a regular basis, I'll just be able to include it in with everything. But up till now, it's been kind of a struggle on certain platforms. Facebook is my most natural one, followed by Tumblr, because Facebook, these people know me, I know these people, and so I feel like I can talk to them personally and really be myself. And on Tumblr's crazy shit, you know, and no one's there as a professional.
I don't get Tumblr. I'm just
Go
gonna
in,
put
post,
that in
get
there.
out. Go in, post, get out. Go in, post, get out.
Well,
Is that how it works? Okay.
The
Make
reason
sure
I'm
that
even on Tumblr is because I really got into the Star Wars Reylo scene after the release of The Last Jedi. So I got on there and basically it was like joining all the teenage girls and college girls and beyond who are like, oh my god, Kylo Ren! So I've been very successful in that fandom, and it's gotten me a lot of followers, a lot of people watching my work. But because I wasn't there as a quote unquote professional, it's where I was the most natural to begin with. Because I was like, I'm not here to impress anyone. I just want to share my stuff.
Right.
And so it is still my most natural platform, because my parents aren't on there, so. I do what I want. I share what I want, and I would link you guys to my Tumblr, but I'm like, you might want to make sure that you're actually interested in that kind of thing first. The Reylo fandom before you go there. So if you're interested, you can ask me, and I'll give you my Tumblr link. But it's just like this isn't like.
It's like your playground
On
or
Facebook. I'm not gonna show it to people who know me, kind of a thing. So just use judgment, and yeah.
It's your side
comfort.
thing.
Yeah, my side thing. Shh.
Joey asks us a question.
What's that?
Yeah, go for it.
They said. Oh, I'm sorry, but did I just cut you off though? Oh my god.
No. I was about.
We're punctuating. It's all good.
It's so hard to tell. I'm bad at talking. Do you ever worry that you, as in your personality, is bad? Like, wow, I read this, and if I hadn't written it, I'd be like, damn, what a bitch.
Yes.
Like, when posting on social media, I'm a lot more like, I keep things on the light end. It's when you come into my streams and we're all just like, just being silly, you're gonna hear me be more like this, like what you see in the stream. But when I'm typing stuff, I'm not like this. I keep it a little bit clean because I don't want people to see my posts and take them out of context. And there's no reason for me to be like all over my stuff. So if you want to see you just come in my Twitch. So I don't usually post stuff that makes me go, does that mean? Unless the only times that I've kind of maybe gotten close to that territory is when I'm typing a rant about art school, but I don't really argue with people on Facebook anymore. I don't have time for it. So.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I used to be all over my Facebook and all over my posts. That's just there's no word for it. That's just, how it is. And I used to be that person. I used to I have been, guilty of being toxic in certain situations like that, but the older I got, I was just like, you know what, I don't have time for this shit. Like, I'm not getting any younger. I would rather not be stressed out by stupid shit that some idiot says on the internet. Like, whatever, just roll my eyes and move on, because I'd rather spend my time on something more worthwhile than shit posting on the internet.
It's so hard.
It's hard to not do it, because you see people type stuff and you're just like, fuck you, I'm gonna tell you that you're wrong.
For me, it's not even that though. I'm just a troll at heart, and I like messing with people who say stupid shit, and I'm just like and like there'll be people, they say, oh, Maika, don't feed the trolls, and I'm like, no, you don't get it, they're feeding me. They're not. I'm not down there with them, they're down there with me.
Yep. Yep.
You think I'm trapped in here with you? You're trapped in here with me!
But,
the moral of tonight's show is embrace your inner troll, everyone.
Your inner bridge troll.
Just
Embrace
it.
But do it not under your main, social media stuff. Like, create a separate account for that shit. That nobody will do.
I usually try to do it, in a way, if someone starts an argument, I'm not gonna call them names or anything like that, because that will validate my argument. But I will use logic and just watch them fall apart, and it's just so amusing. I think I'm sadistic, but I just yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
just
I'm
gets me.
very much of if I know I'm right or if I have a good perspective to say about something, I will say shit. You guys know me pretty well. Like pretty much everyone here knows me pretty well about that. But if I don't know, I keep my mouth shut and I learn. That's pretty much my modus operandi. And a lot of people, say, Sal, you talk like you're right about shit. I'm like, well, because I fucking am. Because if I'm not, I know to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing though. Like with social media and stuff like that, for a long time before I ever joined actual like art community, I just lurked and watched shit go down so that I could see what's what and how people react to stuff and whether or not it's worth even engaging.
You can
And
learn
that,
a lot.
yeah, that has helped me in the long run a lot because God, if I had just jumped on and just did whatever whenever, I'd probably be much different than I am today.
An obliteratable says, "We're all trolls here."
Yes.
And see that's kind of I feel like that's something that like a lot of people tend to forget about is like the difference between voice chat and text chat is like the inflection of voice and like your meaning behind like it the difference between being like sarcastic in your talking voice versus being sarcastic in text is a big difference.
I wish I had the ability to distinguish because my voice is pretty fucking flat. I sound sarcastic and I look like a bitch. It doesn't really help me at all.
I have a similar problem, except it's
Yes.
called people can't tell if I'm joking or not. And I make an effort to smile more just because I want people to take me, like not. How should I say this? If I'm thinking too hard, I look like I want to beat the shit out of somebody.
Same. I don't even have to make an expression. If I bend my face like this, I look demonic. So it just.
You smell like this, Sal?
What's that?
You smell like this?
Yeah.
I'm smiling.
I mean,
I'm
the
nice.
cleaver's helping. The
I'm
cleaver's definitely
approachable.
It's spooky.
Yeah. So the answer is just to smile more.
Yeah.
Just
No.
good Douglas is calling me
Don't tell
out.
me to smile.
Just frown all the time. It's perfect. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like those husky dogs where their faces are automatically scary. That's
Yeah.
I'm like one of them.
You need to make that your profile picture.
And draw put really big mean eyebrows on it too. Just like the straight, really bushy, mean eyebrows. Yeah, do it.
That's it.
That's your new internet
There
persona,
we go.
Maika.
80s metal album cover. There we go.
Good times.
Cat butt. It's cat butt time.
Cat butt. Oh, it is cat butt time. Aw, kitty.
So let's see.
Wiggle.
All right, let's get back on topic.
I guess
Topic? What's that?
since
What's
we
a
were,
topic? I don't know what a topic is.
Talking
my
about
God, yeah,
tonight's all
seriously.
about you guys.
Shit.
So we talked a little bit about you guys your first foray and getting your feet wet in the industry. However that looks for you, whatever industry looks like for you, what have you guys seen has changed in the industry during your time in it? And I mean like socially, I mean professionally, I mean what's out there, all of that stuff. Like what has changed, and furthermore, what excites you about the future of the industry from your particular perspective, like taking into consideration everything we talked about tonight.
Less boob physics in games.
Yeah,
Is
mean,
that really a thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually.
They took them out of Dead or Alive. You believe that?
Oh, they had it so bad in Dead or Alive,
Crazy.
though. I mean, it was like,
No,
what
it
the
was
fuck are those things
perfect.
made of? The first
I
couple of
didn't-
games.
That was perfect.
I
No.
don't
Oh,
mind that kind of stuff.
thought
I
you
don't
were
either.
asking for it.
It's
I know, but it was like,
Yep.
it wasn't even like boing boing. It was like,
It's time to change it up, man. It's time to do dong physics.
they already have
Oh
those.
my God.
They already have those. Conan
Really?
Exiles has dong
Cyberpunk
physics.
2077, dong physics.
Conan Exiles has dong physics, where like a sandstorm will come into the game and your dong will be doing this.
Darude.
No joke, seriously.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I said, you said sandstorm.
I regret saying this, I guess.
Regurt.
Regurg.
I have the regret.
No, what else? What else have you guys seen? Like, all of it.
I feel like standards, obviously, because technology has advanced so much in, so many industries, especially the video game industry, that like standards have just been raised higher and higher and higher and higher, and they keep raising the bar higher and higher. And I think eventually it's got to stop somewhere, like eventually. But
They want you to do it all.
yeah, exactly that. And that was kind of what I was gonna get into a little bit, is that now, if, like, just for an example, this is outside of my industry, but like if you wanted to be a web designer at one point or a graphic designer at one point, now they expect you to also be able to code the websites. They expect you to be able to do all this stuff with the websites. And I kind of learned, that was why I ended up not going through with doing more of the graphic and web design schooling that I had started. I only got my 2-year degree in that, and like I kind of learned more about that industry and how it was changing at that time, and even into now, that I was just like, fuck this, I don't want to learn how to code. And that kind of goes into some other stuff like concept art. Sometimes I'm not saying this is like a common thing, and folks can certainly correct me if they think I'm wrong. But like sometimes they expect you to know how to 3D model shit and also be able to paint. Yes. So like they expect you to do everything, and I kind of feel like it has to stop at some point. Like, here's what I do, this is what I specialize in, you can hire somebody else for the 3D shit. I don't do 3D shit. That's just, yeah. You want somebody to write? I can do that. You want somebody to paint stuff? I can do that. 3D shit? No. Get somebody else for that. Hire a second person. Open up those jobs.
It happens in a lot of industries, even like outside of the arts.
Oh yeah.
Like where it's just everywhere, because like they're like, well, shit, if we could just combine 2 jobs onto one person,
and still pay the
saving
same
a
amount.
whole lot of money.
Do
So
more,
it
get paid
just
the
makes
same.
sense that it happens with creatives as well.
Yeah. But
like,
it still sucks, and it's not exactly like the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Because...
you wouldn't expect your car mechanic to come to your house and do your plumbing as well, right? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Yes.
True. I will say though, I did learn 3D. I taught myself how to do it just to streamline my workflow. Because when I have like rushing, like I will paint over a model instead of doing it from scratch. Because what the hell is the point if I'm in a hurry?
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
I would say another change though that I wanted to point out, like aside from a silly boob physics thing, there's a lot more artists these days coming out about malpractice, and for me, for a long time, it's something that I have had a serious issue with about our community, is this whole mentality of, oh, put your head down, don't say anything kind of shit. Because every time, I'm the type of person where if somebody's wronging me, I'm going to put you on blast. I will say something, but every time I would do that, people would look down at me, oh, you're not taking the high road, oh, blah, blah, blah. But now it's getting more and trendy to actually just straight up say something. I hate passive aggressive mentality. I hate taking it up the ass unwillingly. Like, yo, I'm not trying to like be mistreated. And then also the idea that an artist who expects to be treated better is arrogant and being a diva is just astounding to me. And people still talk like that sometimes when I make a post pointing out like this is not cool. It's like, oh, artists can be such divas, you guys are all just crybabies. How about no, we have standards for life and living, and I'm a person who needs to eat just like you. Drawing is not a fucking hobby. It's just literally my bread and butter. I don't do anything else.
Right.
So you're going to respect me. End of rant.
That's a good rant. It's a good rant.
It's a good rant. Like, people deserve respect. It doesn't matter what you do as a profession. You could be a 3D modeler, you could be a writer, you could be a mechanic, you could be a waitress, you could be an artist, you could do anything. People deserve respect. That's just end of story. Like, wanting to be treated well does not make you a diva. Like, fuck anybody who says so.
What do you mean? You can't pay for your burgers with exposure dollars? Man, I've been doing it all wrong.
No!
Exposure bucks.
Yeah, Jessica Douglas is saying, yeah, I lost a bunch of colleagues and friends for being blunt about mistreatment, and I don't understand that mentality. Yeah, I don't understand that mentality at all.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That sucks.
What about you, Julia?
Think it's gonna
Changes
change?
in the industry?
Yeah, like what kind of changes have you seen during your time in it? What excites you about the future of the industry from your perspective? And we also want to hear from you guys as women. Like, what have you noticed has changed from when you first got into all this stuff, and how things are evolving? Like we talked a little bit earlier today about the Visible Woman hashtag, and what's going on around that stuff too. Like, I'm pretty interested to hear.
Well, something that I've noticed in the past few years that I'm really excited about is the fact that, I mean, well, let's just look at what happened to Lara Croft.
Okay.
Like original Tomb Raider games, could put out somebody's ass with them things, and that's what she was known for. And now it's like in video games, and I feel in movies, it's being pushed towards treating women as real characters, real personalities, not just eye candy, putting them in the center of their own stories.
God,
And
new avatar.
And yes. So I'm really excited about that, and Mandy talked about the pushing of the standards, just in general too. Just what you can expect out of video games, for instance, is just so like they're practically cinematic experiences now, and in the indie scene, it's gorgeous, it's diverse.
There's a lot more strong female leads in games and books.
Yes,
too.
exactly. And like I probably feel much braver about putting myself into that industry than maybe a woman just a decade ago would have felt. Like I wasn't there. I didn't experience it myself.
Sure.
But when I make friends with older women who are in the industry, the things that they tell me, or maybe the wounds they have, the attitudes that they've had to develop over the years, very different from what I feel like I have to have. I feel like maybe I'm also lucky, but there's also a feeling of we've been pushing the envelope towards more decency, and I feel like I can participate in making that even more the standard. And
when you say that, when you say decency, can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that?
Treating women as people.
Got it.
Not just within the medium as characters and such.
Not just a token.
But at the same time, myself, as a professional.
Right, so maybe not even like simply modesty, but more depth and breadth.
Depth. Like maybe not so much like, maybe decency isn't the right word. Maybe like respect is what I'm looking for.
Right.
Respect is the word of the day for me. Like if I feel respected, I'm going to thrive. I'm going to really churn out the best work I can. And I feel like just now, as I'm getting into the industry, I'm getting way more of that than I would have thought, judging from the stories that I've heard and what older women have told me. So I feel like, I'm sure I'll encounter some bullshit out there.
Sure.
But it's a feeling of my own standards for how I am to be treated are very high. And they have been made so by my experiences thus far. What people have given me and the way they have helped me feel like a worthy person. And so, it's the continuation of, I feel, a positive movement towards, more respect. You are a person. You are capable. You have depth.
You're not just a proper plot device. Or...
Yeah. Like I feel like I can go out there and do shit. And I feel like maybe that attitude is more common now among us than it used to be, because of how much has changed.
Yeah.
Um,
So in regards to that, so like, what's exciting about that particular aspect? Just more of that blossoming, or is there anything else that you think about, like, oh, this is something I really want to see happen?
oh gosh, well, definitely, I want to see that trend continue. Um, but as far as what's truly exciting to me is the idea that as the industry moves towards being more egalitarian in its mindset, um, like this industry that we're in deals with stories.
Hmm.
It's all about stories, films, video games, illustration, whatever you like. You know, it's a very story driven industry, and stories are incredibly important to a culture because they help shape the way that people think about themselves and the world and each other. And as the industry becomes more egalitarian, the stories it tells change, and those stories can have an influence, will have an influence on the wider culture. And I feel really excited about that, like thinking that, wait, okay, so me joining this industry and trying to tell the stories that make me feel respected and that honor other women and men, like just make everyone feel like they're respected. You mean me doing that, telling those stories can actually have an effect on my real world experience? Like our real world experience. People ingest these stories and they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I was an asshole in my past, like that kind of thing. It just because in the real world, I still, we all still encounter this
Right.
all the time.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've had some really creepy shit happen to me, like
I'm sure you
just
guys all have. Yeah.
yeah, and it's amazing to think that I'm not just following my passion in this industry and maybe hopefully making a living. I could also be like seriously helping to influence the world in a
Yeah.
positive way.
Am I right
And
to understand a lot of what you're saying to basically boil down to like a level of social and emotional maturity
That's what I
about
was
all
about
this
to say.
stuff?
The
yeah,
industry has matured excessively since even when I first started doing work. It's kind of amazing to see.
yeah, that's exactly it, I think. Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, I think back to old attitudes that I've read about and haven't personally experienced, and it's like, that is goddamn childish.
Well, I mean,
It really is.
Sure.
take the Tomb Raider example that was pulled up earlier. It's like, look at the Tomb Raider from when we were like teenagers and stuff, and it's basically like that was definitely immaturity at its highest. And now you're looking at these really sophisticated, like over the top. Everything is normal and like lifelike about that character. There's a lot more,
Right.
and I mean,
It's gone
yeah,
from like a fetishization of a badass woman thing, but it's gone like beyond that, right? Like, what are her
mhm.
motivations? How does she become this person? Like all of those things. Like, what's her emotional depth? It's not just boobs with guns.
I feel
Boobs,
That's a
attacked.
whole different conversation.
Not
I
that there's
feel
anything wrong with
attacked.
boobs and guns. I
I
mean, by
feel
all means, boobs and swords, boobs and guns. But it's good to. I think from what Julia's saying as well is there being actual substance there that's kind of driving that forward. And if it is boobs with guns, like it comes from a place that's a bit more genuine, I suppose.
Just
What's
the way you said that, I'm like, are the boobs holding the guns?
Are the
Boobs
boobs
That's
with
what I
clearly
was.
the
guns?
guns?
That's what I was thinking.
It's like
Sandy.
Austin Powers with the
Those are the guns.
Oh no!
what are they called? The fembots?
Fembots.
All right. So I have
There's
to
your
ask.
slice of early 2000s culture.
Tank Girl. Ah,
I
Tank
hate
Girl.
this.
Tank Girl.
Hey,
Don't
girl.
get me
I
started.
did not
man.
want to think about that.
Don't get me ranting about how awesome I think Tank Girl is, but Anyway,
Tank Girl's fucking awesome. We can rant about Tank Girl being
so
awesome.
I have to ask then, do you guys have any like upcoming plans coming?
All right, Boozin, bye.
I think we broke her. She's gone through a serious emotional roller coaster on this episode.
Oh, heavy metal
I need
effect.
nourishment. I'm sorry, I missed the
kind of
question
plans?
though.
Oh, right. Yeah, what was upcoming plans, teasing new work?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be contributing more to my original series. Actually, we didn't even talk about the series. Julia did, but me and you didn't, Mandy.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
really
Yeah,
please.
you need to talk about your
Totally
IPs.
forgot.
Just dive in.
I
I
have
was trying to
two.
avoid the question personally, but
Oh, okay.
no, I'll talk about it. It's fine.
Please do.
Wait, did she change the color of her glasses? Yes, I changed glasses. I have.
Yeah, blue ones, red ones.
It should have been like, no, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah. I like
that's true.
casually like put on a like walk away and come back with like a wig on and like a different outfit. So I have this series. It's not like a written story, but I have the Japanese series that I'm most known for, and I've been adding pieces to it. I have a lot already. Let me see if I can link a picture. Because I have like a whole roster, and I've been working on these pieces for about 4 or 5 years. And I'm just trying to get them done, and I hope to get some more done before the con. Let's see. Let me just link this real quick. And then I have a written story that I can't really release too much information on, but I've been working on it since I was about 15 years old as well, and it kind of centers around like gangs and stuff like that, except the characters are female. I have this obsession with like sukeban, which are basically like female gangsters and stuff like that. In high school, and they wear like these long cool trench coats and like do bad shit. But there's the I can't get into it too much right now because I'm still developing it.
Sounds cool. Sounds like a throwback to like Pulp and Grindhouse and all of that kind of stuff,
Yes,
but
yes,
modernized.
yes,
I'm
yes,
all
yes,
about that
yes,
shit.
yes. I love
It's
that
like
shit.
it's
Yes.
like remix Faster Pussycat Kill Kill kind of shit.
Yes, that is probably my favorite. Like, I don't know if genre is the right word,
It
but
works.
I love stuff that feels like really gritty, but also like the characters would be. It would be like a weird contrast if the characters being over the top, wearing like really cool clothes, but also just really grungy and gritty with like hyper violence, but also good storytelling. So that's
Right.
why it's taking so long because I don't want to just put out some garbage.
Just I guess because I did it with Julia as well. For you, I can throw out a really cool reference then for you to try out. So there's a game that came out a while back called Wet.
Yes, I love that
Oh,
game.
fucking
check
Wet.
that out.
I've
Oh,
never played, but I'd like to
Oh,
check it
it
out.
is
such a
so
good
good.
game. I love that game. Got really
Yeah.
excited. Sorry.
Yeah, that was.
The soundtrack for that game is fucking awesome. Even if you don't play the game, check out the soundtrack.
Just watch a Let's
Really?
Play, honestly.
It's all like rockabilly punk shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like
And it's
it
very
goes
it's
back
very
to
Japanese influenced and stuff like
But yeah,
that.
there's that too. There's like a mixture of that and like
surf,
rockabilly music. It's
soul.
great.
Yeah, there's a little bit of all
Cool.
that. It goes back to
Yeah.
like the exploitation gunplay era.
It's all like
phase.
70s movie style, action movie kind of like Quentin Tarantino-esque kind of. Yeah,
And
you would
Rodriguez.
really like it, I think.
Especially since from what from what I'm gathering at least is you're looking for like a more mature style like character archetype and stuff like that that's feminine.
Yeah,
You do that
actually,
very well.
I've released artwork of the some of the characters that are in it. And there's some on my art station too, actually. I'll link it if I can
Yeah, please do.
find it fast enough.
Matt
It's like
has
the
gone
two
over.
main characters.
Julia.
Here we go. They're actually the banner on my Twitch channel right now, but
Nice.
this is one of the pieces that's from that writing or that story. And then I have like it's like stuff that like if you saw it stand alone, you wouldn't know these things went together because haven't really publicized it as, oh, this is for my story, but
Oh, okay.
they
Okay.
are. And this character right here is also from that same writing. And there's also, like, you know, I 3D model and stuff. I've been running tests to come up with like a more efficient way to produce it as a comic in the future. So I'm utilizing my 3D and 2D drawing skills.
Nice.
So like here's like some tests I've done just to see how it would look. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So
I'm just gonna
Cool
spend the
that
rest
has
of the
your
episode looking at
sunglasses.
this. Yeah. Oh. Now we know why she has so many sunglasses. She uses them all as reference.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what about you,
I guess
That's
Mandy?
awesome.
yeah.
So I have a few different IPs kind of in the works. My problem is I never stop making new IPs. I'm always coming up with new stuff, and so most of them don't have names yet, but probably 2019 is going to be like the big year for me for releasing this one that has been kind of a labor of love. It's like kind of like a cult meets Blade Runner, so like demons living in a
All right, you know I'm
sci-fi
going to be pushing you on
futuristic
that. I want to see it
kind
now.
of. So I mean, here's just like a portrait of the main character. Her name is Riley.
All right.
Her basically, you'll see a lot of art of her specifically. She's kind of like my muse that kind of made the gateway into building this world for me. Like I came up with her one day, like she just boop there on the page, and then I was like, okay, I got to make something out of this, and it just keeps revealing itself more and more the more that I draw her, because it's not really something, this particular story isn't really something that I sat down and wrote. Like I have another high fantasy story that's like dragons and swords and magic kind of thing, and that's called Land of Ariel, and that is like very much fleshed out in writing, but I don't do a lot of art for that anymore because I had a lot of people try to steal my ideas, so I took them all off of DeviantArt. Because people were copying me and trying to sell it and make money off of it, and I was like, nope, fuck that, I'm putting this in the vault. Because and normally I just brush that off and let it go, but for this, it's too large scale for me to, you know, let people keep looking at it this way. So until it's more fleshed out and I can get like a proper copyright on it, I'm not going to release it online. But the one with Riley I can do, basically imagine humanity has advanced super duper quickly through means of the world's leaders literally selling their souls to the devil. And
Whoa.
this technology isn't real technology, it's magic. And people live in space and stuff and things, and that's about as much as I'm going to reveal now.
Jessica wants to know, is that the one you drew recently with the wings in the air and the fire? The recent one you did.
That's actually like just a one-off illustration. I might use her. She was just kind of a doodle that turned into a painting. But no, I don't really have plans for her to be in that universe at this time, no. But there's other pictures. I think I have another one of her companion who is also part of that universe. Somewhere in here.
Joy's asking, is it like Shadowrun in space? I'm thinking not quite. You're going more into
parts of it do take place on Earth and like planets and stuff, but it's mostly like space stations that are, and like different cities. That's an older one of her girlfriend. Basically, different demons have different skin colors, and that determines like their powers and that kind of thing, and their place in demonic society and what they can actually do or what they can't do. Different kinds of magic for different colors of, you know, whatever their origin is. So yeah, that's how they interact with people basically. And Riley's job is she's a soul dealer, because that's where all the power for this technology comes from, is souls.
Nice.
Gotta love that. I love that all three of you are developing these really in-depth, really intricate worlds. Yeah.
So you guys are all working on.
That one doesn't have a
cool-
name yet, but yeah.
You guys are all working on cool projects, and whenever you guys talk about this stuff, you get very excited and animated. And I'm just wondering, one of our standard questions is, would 10-year-old think that your work is cool and what you're doing is cool?
A 10-year-old?
Yeah,
10-year-old
10-year-old
like
you.
me?
Yeah. Seeing all this stuff that you're doing now and these IPs or even the artwork that you do.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old wouldn't be allowed to watch what I'm making.
Talking
Neither do
about-
I.
No,
Talking about
10-year-old
10-year-old
you.
you.
Would 10-year-old you think it's cool?
Oh,
Yeah, 10-year-old
hell
you, yeah.
yeah. My parents, I'd be like, oh, I want to watch this. This is kind of like something I'm not supposed to look at. There's like ladies and there's girls with like bazookas shooting things. I like this. I want to watch.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm on board, but anyway.
Like standing on top of a car with a rocket launcher type shit. That was
Yeah.
my shit when I was a kid. Anyway, it's still.
Hell yes.
So
That's
Yeah.
pretty much same. Like I'm pretty sure 10-year-old me would shit her pants if she saw like some of the stuff that I have in the works. Like I always loved, like darker stuff like, Crypt Keeper, Tales in the Crypt, and Goosebumps, and all that kind of stuff. Like along with like all the different anime influences that I had very early on. So like, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I do now, I think if I could show it to 10-year-old me would go, whoa,
Oh yeah.
that's so cool.
Julia's just
Same
nodding
for
very
me.
enthusiastically. What do you got to say, Julia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my 10-year-old self would have a meltdown, probably. It's like, you mean I'm going to do that shit? Oh my god! Life is worth living! I think that's what she would say.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah. It's a good feeling.
So it might be related to this, or it might be an aside. But what about as we're going to be wrapping up here soon? But what about career bucket lists or dream projects?
Oh,
self-publishing.
Self-publishing.
same.
That's
Yeah.
An art book, because I get a lot of people, oh, do you have an art book? And I'm like, sorry, dude, nah.
Same.
They get on my
I-
case so much.
I definitely would like to do a convention at some point, like as an artist. That's a goal of mine. And I'd love to open a web shop. I get a lot of people asking me to make like t-shirts and clothes and stuff, so
Yeah.
I definitely want to.
Oh, I'm actually wearing one. This is actually another character
I
from the
recognize
thing.
that.
Nice. Oh, that's
Badass.
sick.
Yeah, I
Actually,
won't
forget
want.
I
I
was
need your
wearing-
link for that stuff, dude. You gotta send.
Yeah, I'll give you. It's on my website. I'll just.
I want one. I want one.
By you, Julia.
Pretty much if it looks gritty and gross, I want it. That's my thing.
I
It's on
need
your
a
bucket
list.
You have a list.
You need a
You have
list.
like
List.
literal list. Awesome.
I have it right here.
Holy shit. All right.
Finish the Oracle fragment.
Okay.
Display my art at a convention. Get published in a sci-fi fantasy magazine. And do the cover.
Shit.
Get a whole book published. Get an art book published. Do some serious fashion design. Make a graphic novel. Do concept art for a film or game. Speak at an art panel. And make a living with my art.
Nice. Sounds like the three of you should get together after this stream sometime and have a big talk.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys will have a lot to talk about this
wow.
stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
that is my list.
You got this. All definitely achievable for all three of you, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, like next week. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, we should probably wrap up because it's been two and a half hours, and let's get into closing remarks here. On topic, what kind of advice would you guys give to women wanting to start a career in the creative art industry today?
Don't go to art school.
I was about to say, fuck art school. That was like the number one thing that popped in my head. Fuck art school.
Anything else?
Yeah,
Are we like the same person right now?
basically.
Probably.
Yeah, a little bit.
Probably. It's just a race bend. I would say probably just ignore that voice in your head that tells you I'm not good enough to join this community yet, or I shouldn't post yet because it's not good enough. I shouldn't build my portfolio or make an art station because everybody's better than me. There's so many people I see who regardless of their gender, say that, and it kind of hurts me a little bit when I hear that, because it's like you're losing out so much. I joined the internet after like they started doing that shit to it that made it harder to get exposed, and so building my audience with the little I have is very hard. If I had started back when Art Germ did it or Yume, I'd probably be well off right now.
Yep.
So that whole mentality, like, try not to give into it because it's gonna bite you in the ass later.
A lot of
That's
time
all I'd
wasted.
say.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you,
It's
Mandy?
hard to get started.
I would say I was pretty much going to say mostly the same thing, but like, don't stop. Like, people let stuff like art block or being too nervous or not being confident enough they use it as a means to not make art anymore. So my advice would be don't do that. Don't stop. Even if you think it sucks, even if you hate it, even if you don't post it, don't stop making art, because when you stop, you stagnate. And if you do that, then you're going to have that much harder of a time breaking into this industry if that's something that you want to do. Like, don't give up. And don't go to art school, because fuck that.
I don't believe in art block. I don't believe it's real. Unless you have like a broken hand. There's no such thing.
Yeah,
I'm slowly
I
learning
have
that.
a lot of things to say about art block, but that'll take up a whole show in and of itself. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
I'm slowly learning that myself, but I won't detract from people who feel that they get it. So
yeah.
Definitely don't let the shit get you down, guys. You can do it.
Maybe we'll do a future show on art block just to like talk about that stuff, because it is something worth people.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a YouTube video on that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, that is something I have said. I mean, people are not gonna like it, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Honestly,
if you get art block, you can do studies. You know, nothing. You don't like have a creative idea, but you can still do studies. You can still do things that further your actual skill set rather than your imaginative work. You know, just to stay sharp. Because if you make that your excuse, it's going to bite you in the ass.
Same thing with the
you're gonna
whole
get rusty.
The whole inspiration thing. Same thing with that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't.
Stop.
I kind of lost my train of thought. Like, you don't. Art block is really what people call art block is really you're feeling uninspired, or you're not feeling that inspiration kind of at its core, or you're frustrated, or you're hitting a wall. That's what people call art block. But really, to break out of that, all you have to do is something mindless, something. I don't like to use the word academic, but that's kind of what it is to do studies, because it requires no creativity to replicate what you're seeing.
I think what I'd like to see is people just own up to the fact that, if anything, maybe you just need a break, and just call it that. If that's what you need, then take that break, but don't blame it on art block. All right, that's bullshit.
Be honest,
I've definitely been guilty of that.
I mean, I haven't had art block since I was like 20, but what I did my strategy to get over art block, or what I thought was art block, was making fun of the art block and doing art about the art block. That helped. Man, like, ever since then I was just art block, fuck that. What about you, Julia?
Advice?
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to women wanting to start a career in the creative art industry?
I would say, and honestly, this isn't really gender specific.
Okay.
It's, don't feel like you have to do what other people are doing. I mean, I suffered a lot from this early on, where, I had my heroes, and I thought, if I'm not doing everything just like them, I'm a failure, because they're so cool, And when you get started, you're very hungry for advice, and you're very uncertain, and you want to have some sort of template to work with. And while it can be helpful, there will come a time sooner or later where it does not help you anymore, because it just doesn't jive with who you are or the way you think. And as an artist with ADHD, I have had to learn this lesson the hard way. because people with this condition think very differently, and you just gotta find what works for you and frees you up to do the work that you want to do. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And you can't figure out everything at the start either. So, the advice I would give is to be open to trying new things, trying to figure out like what really helps you to do your best work, and then to have patience. I suck at this. I want everything to be done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yesterday. I want it all done yesterday. But patience is so key to working in this industry, because not only do you have to build up the skill sets, but you also just have to get to know people. And you're not going to become a sensation overnight, no matter what you try or what you want. So you have to like doggedly do it day after day. And that ties into what Mandy said. Don't stop. Don't stop. Have patience and just accept that this will take time. All good things will take time. It's more like growing a garden versus winning the lottery.
I like
So
Well put.
yeah. So I have to keep telling myself that, and
So
I'll tell anyone who
philosophical,
listens.
Julia.
What?
I said so philosophical, Julia.
I know, I'm so deep.
All right, you guys. I think we
I
should
love
wrap
it.
it
That's great
up.
advice.
Yes.
Thank you again so much for your time. Thank you for being here to spend the evening with us, and everybody who showed up in the chat. Thank you guys for the great conversations, great questions, great banter, all of it. Any final thoughts, you guys?
This was really fun. Let's do it
Was
again.
really
We
fun.
will. We'll definitely
Yeah.
do it again.
I like
I'm
it.
down.
Awesome. All right. So just a reminder, you guys, if you guys haven't gone to check out their work, check out Maika's work at artstation.com/Sozo, Sozo, Maika, Maika. You can check out Amanda on Instagram as The Mandy, TheMandii. And then Julia Harrison, you can find her stuff on ArtStation as Julia Harrison Studio. All the links here are on the screen here. They've been here the whole time. But yeah, and if you guys want to link them again, go for it in the chat. But thanks again, you guys. Really good. I'm gonna mute us and put everyone's favorite stream character on the screen, and and we'll debrief here off camera, off mic. Thanks again, you guys. Thanks again for making this this such a great show. Thank you. See ya, chat people.
Bye.
Just gonna wave.